I'm 21 years old and I have $13,000 saved up, and I'm still on the way to my $15,000 emergency fund goal. And today I want to talk about what this journey has taught me because it's not what you would think. If you feel behind with money, this video's for you. Hi, my name is Julia for anybody that's new here. I work a 9 to 5 and I also have a side hustle where I sell clothes on Depop part-time, but I'm also very passionate about investing, saving money, and building financial security. I haven't hit my $15,000 goal yet, but I'm close enough to where I've learned quite a bit, including what works, what doesn't work, and what I wish I would have stopped stressing about sooner. So if this seems like something that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead and hit like and subscribe and keep watching. Slight disclaimer, I am not by any means a financial advisor in any way, so take everything that I say with a grain of salt. This is all just my personal experience with reaching my financial goals. And with that, let's get to the video. Why did I want to save $15,000? Well, the main reason for me is stability. In a study done by Vanguard titled The Relationship Between Emergency Savings, Financial Well-Being, and Financial Stress, they found that emergency savings were the single strongest predictor of financial well-being, with individuals who held $2,000 or more in their emergency savings having a 21% increase in financial well-being. Furthermore, having at least 3 to 6 months in savings leads to an additional 13% increase in financial well-being. So, what does this mean for me and you? Essentially, if you want to build strong foundations, then having an emergency fund is key. I have very high hopes for my financial future, and in order to make sure that I'm putting myself on the right track, I knew that having at least 3 to 6 months in savings was going to put me on the right path. So that's why I've decided to make $15,000 my baseline. This number is actually a little bit higher than 3 to 6 months, but I just figured it would give myself a good footing just in case anything came up. How did I get to $13,000? For those of you who don't know, I began my 9 to 5 in July of 2025 after graduating from college in that May. Since then, I've made savings for my emergency fund a non negotiable every single month. The biggest thing that has helped me is automation, which I know if you're watching finance videos, you've probably seen so many other people talk about this, but genuinely, it is a life changer. If you automate your process and you make paying this like a bill, you make this a non negotiable, I promise you it is going to make reaching your savings goals 100 times easier. By treating my emergency fund as a bill that I have to pay, it changed my mindset. It didn't allow me much wiggle room. The second thing that helped me in reaching this $13,000 is honestly just my thriftiness and resourcefulness. Um, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like I'm constantly having products shoved down my throat. And so just taking a step back and realizing you don't need the brand new trend, whatever is going on social media at the moment. And honestly, just going to the thrift store, I think cuts down a lot of my costs. I understand that sometimes you do need new pieces in your wardrobe. For example, when I started my new job, I didn't have all of the corporate attire that I needed. But instead of going to the mall, for instance, and buying $50 shirts, I went to the thrift store and I found pieces that were of the same quality or even higher for fractions of the cost. And so I think using your resources and kind of tuning out the noise of the current trend is really going to help you in your journey because I know that it's something that has really helped me. And the third thing that really helped me reach this $13,000 that I'm at right now is just cutting out all of the noise. I know sometimes whenever you're consuming financial content, it can become quite overwhelming because there are so many different accounts that you feel like you need to open. But if you just focus on what's at hand and you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to save in my emergency fund first. After I've hit my goal, then I can worry about investing, or then I can worry about blah, 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 whatever your financial goals are. If you just focus on what is at hand, on your goal at hand, then you will be more successful. Cut out all of that extra noise and just Focus on the goal, the first step. So, what have I learned so far? Number one, progress is going to feel extremely slow until it doesn't. I was probably around 2 months in, and I kept checking my savings account, hoping that I would see some $7,000 sitting in there or something like that. When in reality, this just isn't realistic. Progress is going to look slow, and then one day you're going to wake up and say, oh my gosh, I'm almost at my goal. Because honestly, that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. It's kind of surreal to me that I'm about to hit my emergency fund goal when it feels like I just started putting into this account. So, if I could give you one piece of advice, it is to stay consistent. Because I promise you, consistency is going to beat perfection every single day of the year. You don't have to be perfect to be successful. Some of the most successful people are the ones who are consistent. Over time, the money that you put into these accounts is going to grow exponentially, and your progress won't feel so little anymore. And the last thing that I have to say about what I've learned is that your motivation is most likely going to fade. And so that's why it is so important, like I mentioned earlier, to have systems in place to automate this process for you, because you're probably not going to feel like setting aside $1,500 every month, or however much that you can put aside. I know everybody's situation is different. So, having systems in place is really going to help you because, like I said, it's like paying a bill. You don't really have a choice, right? So, when you take away the manual nature of having to go into the app and physically move the money yourself, transfer the money yourself, you take away that option. So, automating that is really going to help you. Here's what I'm going to do different for saving my last $2,000 until I reach my goal. The closer I get to reaching this goal, the more intentional that I'm trying to be. I'm trying to start tracking my progress visually, and so I am trying to actually build out like a budgeting template or spreadsheet in my Excel. And that's actually going pretty slow at the moment, but it's something that I'm working on, and I'm hoping that I can build on that in the future so my future savings goals can be achieved through that. The second thing is I'm starting to kind of look into the future a bit and think about what I want to do after I reach this goal. So for me, I'm thinking about, investing into my company's 401k to get my match, investing in Roth IRA accounts, or investing my money into the stock market. These are all options that I'm currently thinking about. It is very important that as you near the end of one of your goals, you start kind of thinking about the future a little bit so that whenever you hit that goal, you're prepared to hit the ground running to reach whatever your next financial goal is. And the last thing that I'm going to do differently is I'm going to enjoy my life a bit more and not feel so guilty. I know sometimes there is a shaming nature when it comes to budgeting. You can't spend any money on fun, it seems like. So for me, I want to make sure that I'm still enjoying the little things in life. As long as I'm accomplishing what I want to accomplish financially, then I see no problem in spending a little money here and there to make sure that I'm still having fun in my life and feeling fulfilled. At the end of the day, I'm not rushing the $2,000. I want the habits to last longer than the goal. So if you're $500, $1,000, or even negative, it doesn't mean that you're bad with money. It just means that you're early in your process. I hope this video has resonated with some of you, and if you are interested in following along as I plan out my next financial goals, then I hope that you stay tuned and make sure to subscribe to my channel. I know this is a bit out of my norm content, but I really appreciate if you are still watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.